Ah, the Janny. One of the marvelous creatures the internet allows, and could only exist on the internet. It's a thankless job, and someone has to do it. It's something almost any platform that allows user generated content has to have to some degree, as without it, things can get bad pretty fast. The core point of a Janny is to remove content that breaks the rules of the platform. This always varies, but nowadays usually contains very similar things. The rules you'll typically see usually involve things considered quote unquote hate speech. Things that hurts people's feelings. They'll throw around terms like homophobia, transphobia, racism, etc., etc. Now, I'm not one that likes being censored or having to filter myself, but even I understand there's some necessity to these rules. That being in professional areas, workplaces and the like. However, I don't think these kinds of rules are ever appropriate for entertainment, whether that be streaming service or video game. As we can all see, all being those willing to open their eyes, that is, it can clearly be seen that these overly sensitive and politically correct ideals are more detrimental than they are helpful. Video games get worse and worse every year, where political agendas of the narrative, trademarked, are pushed harder and harder, and only done for the sake of doing. Game stories are becoming worse and worse, meanwhile the actual quality of gameplay diminishes as well. Of course, on streaming services and places like YouTube, these kinds of rules favor a certain kind of content, and only that certain kind of content. You'll happily be fed the same messages from narrative TM approved creators, but the substance is lacking, and genuine creators are becoming harder and harder to find. Despite all that, that's just to set the stage for Jannies, and what I'm really complaining about today. I fucking hate Jannies. There is virtually no time where I've had a nice interaction with a Janny. And that's for a multitude of reasons. Whether it be the Janny themselves being an annoying person or just an asshole, or the rules of the platform being arbitrary / up for interpretation. This can be chalked up to me being stuck in my edgy teenager phase, and I just need to grow up and stop disrespecting quote unquote authority. Yeah, sure, if that's your personal interpretation of that, except it goes deeper than surface level generalized hatred for authority. My issue isn't just someone telling me what to do, it's who's telling me what to do. If someone I perceive as beneath me is ordering me around, I almost instinctively get mad. Not even as a bit or a joke, I genuinely get angry. When some limp wrist fucking troon tells me not to say no words, I get a little heated. When an obese Reddit user tells me to slow my roll, makes me want to roll his fat ass down the hill into a landfill. When someone who has no right to be speaking down to me does so, I genuinely get mad. On top of that, I have an issue with rules, or more like the interpretation of rules. A lot of the time these rules are more a general frame, and the individual Janny interprets that frame. Sometimes, the enforcement of rules is inconsistent, as I've experienced firsthand. One Janny can be completely fine with whatever edgy joke you made, where another takes extreme offense to it and bans you. Oftentimes, you can't even make your case, as the staff of the Janny quote-unquote works with will favor them regardless of context. This especially all gets annoying when playing video games. Nobody wants to sit down to play a video game and have a fat fucking retard tell them what to do. Nobody wants to play a game and have to walk on eggshells around a Janny, because they don't want to get banned. People play games to have fun and laugh, not sit there and sweat in-game while a power-tripping faggot that has never had a real job sits there and dictates what they can and cannot say. Pussyless virgins with nothing better to do other than babysit a bunch of easily offended trannies and retards. The reason I bring all this up is a recent Steam friend of mine was banned from the Volta F4 servers on Team Fortress 2 Classic for the crime of making a joke. I know, this joke is absolutely horrible, just awful. I myself was crippled for days after hearing it. I had to wear my diapers and soundproof earmuffs for hours before I was able to calm down enough to not shit myself after hearing it. What was the joke, you ask? Spy is raping my sentry. Yeah. That was the joke that he got banned for. And after attempting to appeal the ban made by some Brazilian third world retard, he got permanently banned instead. I've had similar experiences where I thankfully didn't get banned, but Janny's getting genuinely offended when I say the word retard. This shit is fucking ridiculous. Never before has it ever been necessary for grown adults to have to be babysat in video games, just in case they have their feelings hurt. It's just fucking stupid. Let's go over the rules of Vault F4. 1. No hacks, /bots, /automation programs, cheats, or map exploits will be tolerated, nor will interfering with the normal operation of the servers. This is an acceptable rule. 2. Spam is not allowed. This includes any communication that may be disruptive to the servers, such as loud noises or quote-unquote ear rape music, yelling, screaming, or annoying noises. Communications in excess of 60 seconds, hogging the mic. Excessive use of text chat binds or voice chat soundboards. We do not differentiate between proximity and regular voice. This rule is fucking stupid. Why, you might ask? Because there's a fucking mute button. Something the janies at Vault F4 have apparently forgotten exists. I know, shocking such a feature even exists, but yes, you can just mute someone that you don't like, which I often do when annoying Russian kids or annoying trannies join the server. Nobody forces anyone to listen to someone else except the person themselves. 3. No hate speech or harassment is allowed. This includes, but is not limited to, racism, sexism, ableism, homophobia, transphobia, bullying, and use of racial, ethnic, and anti-LGBT slurs. Likewise, glorification of Nazis or use of Nazi imagery and symbols is grounds for an immediate and permanent ban. Clarification on this rule from addendum in post number 3 below. Anyone caught harassing another player on our servers on basis of race, sex, disability, gender identity, or sexuality will be permanently banned. Appeals for this kind of ban will be handled on a case-by-case basis. Another stupid fucking rule, mainly because it's vague enough that anything could be deemed as hate speech. Is your medic being fucking retarded and you call him stupid? Well, you're being ableist, you bigot. Did someone spray some faggot pride flag you just so happened to spray over and not even thinking about it? Well, you're being homophobic/transphobic, you heckin' bigot. The fact it's so up for interpretation and the fact any kind of quote-unquote bullying is such a generic term and generalized term, what is normal typical video game banter can get you banned is an entirely dependent on the Janny interpreting things. 4. We do not allow sprays with pornography, overly sexualized images, or anything, including genitalia. We also do not allow sprays that violate Rule 3, have excessive gore, or harmful links. It's a game meant for adults. Yeah, I think Coomers are annoying, but I'm not shutting down into tears when I see a penis or a vagina. As long as the sprays aren't something illegal, then there shouldn't be a problem. 5. Don't be an asshole. This is a catch-all rule used as necessary to maintain the quote-unquote spirit of our servers. We call it the brown hat rule, aka don't be scumbag Steve. This rule includes, but is not limited to, disrespecting admin requests, heckling staff, or direct admin attacks, team stacking / rejoining a server to avoid a team scramble / swapping teams after being balanced, deliberately doing things to annoy people after they've politely asked you to stop, intentionally filing false reports, intentionally starting drama or bringing up controversial subjects to start arguments, aka trying to trigger people. Oh look, another broad and vague rule that's up for interpretation, leaving you at the mercy of a Janny's interpretation. 6. Any form of evasion from an admin action will result in a ban from our servers. The length of the ban will depend on the severity of the evasion. This includes the use of alternate accounts to evade punishments. Evasion bans are not eligible for appeal and must be served in full, regardless of whether the original ban was justified. You are expected to be mature and file an appeal if you disagree with staff actions. Doing otherwise will probably hinder your chances of a successful appeal. Don't like the fact you got banned for a bullshit reason, but still want to be able to play the game? Fuck you. 7. No unapproved advertising or self-promotion. We do our players the courtesy of not exposing them to or profiting from third-party advertisements on our servers. So we expect other players to have the courtesy to continue this ad-free environment. Examples of things that are not permitted. stating you are selling services or items for physical money or tangible gain. Reasonable Steam trades are not covered by this rule unless you are spamming for trade/sales. No third-party server addresses due to issues with malicious servers. Shielding products, services, or quote-unquote stuff in which you have a stake or vested interest. What the fuck does that mean? Anything that would fall under FTC's rules on paid promotion disclosure. This rule is kind of understandable, but at the same time, nobody fucking does this. Overall, I think most of us can agree, Jannies are fucking pathetic. Basement-dwelling Redditors with no life. Tranny-worshipping retards with no power in life, so desperate to have some semblance of control. If you're a Janny, even just similar to the ones I've described, please consider the rope. If you're one of the rare just Jannies, then be lenient. Be understanding with banter and only enforce the rules, no matter how vague, when they are genuinely being violated. Fuck Jannies and fuck juice.